एक मिनट आप कुछ बात करिएगा.
Professor, can you say something? We are just checking the audio to general public.
Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Just we are checking up the public audio system. If it is
Okay.
reaching, then we will start the program.
Okay. Hello, I'm Padmanabhan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
So we'll start, Professor.
Sure.
Yes. Very good afternoon to everyone. Today we are on the first day webinar of 5-day webinar series 6 from Gandhigram Rural Institute, deemed to be university. I welcome you all for joining in this session. At the outset, I would like to thank Professor B. Subraj, Vice Chancellor in charge, Professor V.P.R. Kumar, Registrar, and our Chancellor, Dr. K. Mannamalai, for giving us this opportunity to conduct this webinar series successfully, and for all the supports they are extending to us. Today on the 6th webinar series, we are having distinguished speaker today. I will introduce Professor M.K. Padmanabhan, who is our chief guest in this webinar series, and I will just give an introduction about Professor Padmanabhan. Professor Padmanabhan is going to speak on new education policy, opportunities and challenges for rural and urban students fraternity in India. This will be the title of the discussion today. And to introduce Professor Padmanabhan, it's very difficult to introduce you, sir, but still I will try my level best to introduce you.
No. Make it short and brief. I will be happy.
I'll just introduce, but these are all essential to know who is who. Professor Padmanabhan spent nearly 20 years with Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, as a scientist. During the period, he was deputed to NASA, USA for a period of 5 years to work as project manager of an Indo-US Space Lab 3 program on board in Space Shuttle Challenger. Professor has a PhD in Aerospace Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai. Sir had during 2000 to 2010, Professor Padmanabhan has founded Flexion Technologies, funded by JP Morgan, a technology company dealing with design and manufacture of aerospace systems. It has later been acquired by a large corporate conglomerate in 2008, and after that he worked for 2 years as chief executive officer of the company. During 2010 to 2016, he was involved in a number of initiatives that can be broadly classified in education management. In this period, he served 3-year term as Vice Chancellor, Provost for a large multidisciplinary education and research university, Dr. MGR Research Institute in Madurai, Chennai. The university has Department in Engineering, Medical Sciences, Arts, Science and Management. During 2016 and 17, he was director of Virginia Tech India Center for Research and Education. It is a non-profit entity duly registered under the Indian Companies Act. Professor Padmanabhan is a technocrat with more than 35 years of total experience in domains that span enterprise creation, management, education, and applied research, governance, and policy implementation. We are very lucky to have you today, Professor Padmanabhan, for this webinar series. Thank you so much for blessing us and being with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible, please?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So basically, thanks for the introduction. Yes, I have actually been in government for 20 years and later 20 years in corporate, and but not 50 years, 20 years, 15 years in corporate, and last 5-6 years I've been very actively involved in educational activities, serving 2 terms as Vice Chancellor of Dr. MGR University, which has got engineering, medical and dental, and MGR University also has hospitals and medical colleges in Bangalore as well as in Vellore. So basically, we will just dwell upon the new educational policy which has been introduced by the government, which will take effect from 2021 and go on over the next decade or even more. As you are all aware that the Basically, the educational framework of India started in 1986 and for the last 34 years, never has there been any significant change excepting tweaking some small curriculum and then introducing some new subjects. Sometimes the old wine in a new bottle, name alone is changed, but contents are different. And the majority of them, if you look at it, were always dependent on how the market works. For example, the last 15 years, if you leave the last 3 years, before that, it was highly dominated by computer science, information technology, and diverse like that. And the core technologies like mechanical, electrical, electronics, they're all left with, and therefore we today have abundance of computer science and information technology graduates, and we have very little mechanical, civil engineering, electrical, electronics type of people. And slowly and steadily, the nation is deteriorating in this fashion, which is not very good because while information technology and computer science are allied subjects and they are market dependent and a bit technologically focused, we need simple civil engineers to build bridges, to build hospitals, to build various things. We need simple electrical electronics engineers for factories at home. We need them for repairs overall and things like that. And because students, the later students feel that there is no opportunity for a job in this, they're all dwindling. I hope you are aware this year admission, which
Yes.
just closes now, has hardly 27% filled in mechanical engineering. That means, if the number of seats are 37,000, I think in India, hardly 7,000 is filled. Now, this is a very pathetic situation because 5 years down the line, there will be a great dearth for mechanical engineers, and you cannot start at that time because for the next 4 years, you cannot produce engineers, right? So, this is a very difficult scenario. And even in the school education, the government has been trying with various things. Should we have a local language? Should it have a blend with English? Should it have a blend with Hindi? A whole lot of thinking that has been there. And thanks to Dr. Kasturi Rangan's committee for reform, they have been working extensively over the last 3.5 years and come out with a comprehensive set of policies and guidelines under the NEP 2020, they call. I think it's a very, in a lot of times, any policy, any guideline, if you take, they will always have pluses and minuses. Okay, anything in life, even in life. And therefore, if we have studied as some of the educationalists, this is the third or the fourth forum in which I was, the rest of the forums were more involved as educationalists to understand and analyze the new educational policy and say, what are the good of it which we can take and what are the things that are not so good. Okay. So having been part of that, I think I would like to share with you some of these aspects with regard to the NEP, which I believe are good and which will definitely give a lot of impact to us. Let me start first with the school education. As you know, the elder school in India officially started at the age of 5 or 6 and went on for 14th age, 15th year when they start their first standard and go up to what you call SSLC. Then you have a +2 and all that. But the major issue is that children these days and in general grow very well and in a very environment which is more IT savvy, lot of media savvy, televisions, all that. Every child matures to a much different level even at the age of 3. And then they go to unorganized Montessori school or even, what they call child care school, where the private people, in the name of proffering, they take a lot of money and a lot of poor people cannot afford it. Okay, because the corporate school starts only with first standard. So they are virtually, when they join a corporation school or a routine school at the age of 6 years, all these well-to-do or economically better children have already got a 3 year of leap over these government school children. And therefore, that skill gap could not be bridged in the next 6 to 14, which is typically 10 to 12 years of education. And this results in their not having been able to do well at the schooling, and then it continues in college. And then compared to it, the additions of these children doing in local Tamil medium or whatever is the language of education, the school whole system was very skewed towards the middle income group and above, and the poorer children have to really fight hard compared to it. The additions of these children. Sorry?
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, so they all blossom up. So under that, now as per the new educational policy, you are aware the schooling will start, formal schooling will start in a traditional corporation school or even in other schools at the age of 3. So they will all join, and then that gap between the well-to-do children from an economic viewpoint and others will greatly vanish. So there is a knowledge that is imparted for these children. I think the new scheme is called 5+3+3+4 curriculum and a teaching structure, which is something unbelievably very good, And so I hope that beginning next year, a new paradigm shift that's going to happen in the school system will percolate into the college system very well. Okay. And therefore, 10 years down the line, we are sowing the seed for very good children with no economical disparity. You are aware, even today, a lot of children from the rural community, poor community, are able to blossom up. Their percentage is very less. Okay, but this I hope will change significantly. This I think is a very formal, welcome change, and lot of educationalists with a neutral view, no biased view for or against, completely accept this is one of the best that can happen. The second one, very important in my opinion, is the emphasis on mother tongue as a medium of instruction. I know the NEP recommends the mother tongue as a medium of instruction. It has not been made compulsory, but they encourage you. And that is very good because, again, taking an example of the way the school children are now doing, the people who go for this 3+3 in a private environment starts with English. And even if some small subject in Tamil is taught, it is considered as very derogatory. You teach only at home, but they all will only talk big fashions. Even the nursery will be taught only in nursery rhymes of British. Nothing which is very local, no, our own languages, Odi Vilayadu Papa, all that when we were young, we did nothing of that exists. My grandchildren, unfortunately, a couple of them are in US, but born from here, they all had never been able to do this. I hope now this emphasis on mother tongue is going to be something fantastic. And, all along, politicians have been exploiting it as a tool. But now it is going to really happen without politics being imparted into the system. I think that is very, very good for us. And it recommends, I will quote, within quotes, the NEP, wherever possible, the medium of instruction until at least grade 5, but preferably till grade 8 and beyond, will be in the local language, mother tongue, okay, and regional language. Thereafter, the home or local language shall continue to be taught as a language wherever possible. However, the medium of instruction can change. I think this is very good for us because they would have kept a balance. Somebody who moves into a rural environment, science and arts and commerce, this will give them a very good fundamental. They can continue because some of the science, arts and commerce students can, even in the entire north, they are taught in Hindi. But somehow in our place, even our own government arts colleges will teach only in English. I think this will change. And they also, the fourth important thing, next one, I think, is there is no rigid separation between science, arts, and commerce stream. This is something very good. See, by the time you grow up in your school education, And when you come even to the school education, to your SSLC, you are today not, the individual child is not taking decision whether he should join arts college, science college, engineering, medical, dental. There, whatever there, if his dad is a doctor and if he likes that profession, he will say, no, you should become a doctor. So an engineer, so a chartered accountant. But you know, the child may have completely different faculties in him. No, he may become a very good artist. He may be have interest in science, in physics, chemistry. Till now, these type of things never happen. But now you can choose it, but more importantly, you can choose, like in the olden days, they used to have major and minor. You can still be a science graduate and learn commerce. You can be a commerce graduate and you can do some physics, chemistry. So now there is no rigid separation between science, arts, and commerce stream. 35% can be minor and 65% can be major. So you can still take two streams, and this will also help in their career growth when they don't get a job, when the market situation keeps demanding. Still, they may get a job in their minor specialization than their maximum. So, because their livelihood will impart, and this I think is another very, very good thing. The fourth important aspect I think is there is a compulsory internship and vocational education from class 6. This I think is very, very good because you see, when we were doing engineering, I mean, when I was doing Bachelor of Engineering back in 1975, it's a long time. We used to know carpentry, we used to know smithy, we used to know machine shop. Nowadays, students don't learn all that in their first and second year. And if they learn, it is namke was. Really, they don't indulge. They don't even know how to use a thing. Now, this is very bad because it is like, even for a small short circuit in our house, I have to call an electrician. But on the other hand, I am a big electrical engineer. You see, this is something unbelievable. Whereas in the United States and all that, they just are very good in their own subject in hands-on, right? So therefore, this is something that is very good because they are now saying that we can now use this internship and vocational education all through from class 6 through 12. So at that time, you can even try to become a painter, an artist, a dramatist, and you can seek an alternate career in them, assuming that you can become your own entrepreneur in your small way. You don't have to really seek a job, So I think that is another best aspect of all this. Particularly, I think for rural children, this will be a great goal. And universities of your caliber, where you are focusing on rural children, I think you will see a tremendous change in the way you will address the education over the next 10 years sincerely, and you will be able to make very meaningful contribution to the rural education sector. That is, I think, is very, very important. And, the other thing is board exams to have very low stakes. See, today you learn, but finally it is on one day exam, your whole career is dependent. That day you can fall sick. That day you won't have reached examination all in time because your bus did not there was a strike, XYZ. And poor guy who has been the best in the class for 12, for the whole year is now gone. He is getting demoralized and his career is 1 year lost. All that will now be gone. The board exams, I am quoting within NEB policy, the board exams for grade 10 and 12 will be redesigned, and the new assessment center, that is called PARIC, Performance, Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge and Holistic Development, will be set up as a standing setting body. So by the time you come to the final, 70 marks is already given to you. Only 30% will come from that examination. Now it is a reverse. So any student, for whatever reason I mentioned, is not able to do the final exams properly, he can take a re-exam, he can take another exam immediately or even take it a bit later, and it won't last. And that 30 marks will be added whenever you finish it, and earlier you would have secured marks, together you will be awarded a certificate or a degree which will help you go for a higher education. And Another aspect which I think from a rural environment, which is very, very good from a rural university perspective, is there is a special emphasis on education of gifted children. See, when we say gifted, so I will read that thing and then we'll discuss. Emphasis will be given on socially and economically disadvantaged groups, which include gender, socio-cultural, and geographical identities, and disabilities. Now, this type of people, they have basic problems in their learning ability. So now, this type of gifted children, what they call, people used to say all type of norms, but now they are called under the new educational policies within quotes as gifted children. That means they have been gifted by God with something, but you have to unearth what it is and make it. Make him a potter, make him a carpenter, make him an artist, make him a dramatist. And that is something fantastic in my opinion, because rural children, because of the various backgrounds that they have mentioned, cultural, gender, geographical, and economically weaker sections, they are not able to afford an engineering or a medical education or even a diploma sometimes. So these children will go on a special track, and the government is insisting that at least in government colleges, government departments for employment, they must reserve a 15% for this type of children, because it is put under the so-called economical reservation. Lot of people politically wrongly interpret this as saying, oh, this would mean that you will only give it to certain community, you will give it only to certain caste. Nothing like that. This is not based on caste or creed discrimination. This is based purely on their economic status. So they are not able to compete with us to go through this. Now, I think we can go on and on this type of reform. Actually, the government has published, the total book is around 350 pages, but the concise brief thing is published as 40 pages. And I think we should go through the personal view. I mean, there was actually, I attended a meeting, a closed door meeting of Ministry of Human Resource Development 3 times during the policy, because I worked very closely with Dr. Kasturi Rangan. In fact, he was my boss in ISRO. So I worked directly under him, and so I had a role to be part of certain aspects, vetting the policy and then trying to add to the policy, trying to write the vocal part of the policy in terms of policy document and all that. And we have deliberated a lot. And it was one of the most sincere attempts, without looking at any political or influential people affecting the whole policy. It was written with a very great vision. And, at the age of 78, Dr. Kasturi Rangan does not require any more credentials. For him, he has seen life. And the majority of the people who are in as part of it, we had representatives, of course, from MHRD, UGC, Medical Council of India, AICTE. But while they all were contributing 30%, 70% of the policy has been driven by people who have wetted their hand in educational policies. They have been principal, they have been vice chancellor, they have been pro-vice chancellor, they have even been registrars, okay, who have told the difficulties students join, they are not able to pay the fee. 6,000 rupees is the fee for an arts and science, and they are not able to pay and discontinue in rural center. Forget the 50,000 rupees that people pay in engineering every semester. So they were saying the policy must be such that, and also the one important point that was brought out is, don't say first class, second class, third class in your grading system, and don't discriminate children because they become very mentally, oh, I'm only a second class graduate, I'm only a third class graduate, I'm good for nothing. Like that they get their inferiority complex. So they said, we will not do that. Okay, we will give, already government has taken away, but we have a G, instead of percentage, we are giving G grade point average now. He will not even give grade point, because again grade point average 6.5 means we know it is 65%. That's how even industry represents. Instead, we are going to completely move out of this system and then tell them a combination of adjectives like, we don't even want to say unsatisfactory, satisfactory, there will be nobody. It will be good, very good, and things like that. So you can, even the normal student will be called as a good student. He is not going to be called unsatisfactory or satisfactory student. So his morale gets boosted up.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And then he can absolutely move up the ladder and whatever he becomes, in his career and in his things. I think a lot of good has happened. People have to really understand, educators like your type of universities, particularly the rural universities. This is the greatest of a boon, and you should take it from there and then see how best you can leverage this from 2020. We all thought that first 5 years there will be a lot of hiccups. By the time we understand, the universities understand, colleges understand, and put in the system, the teachers have to understand. So you have to train the trainers, your teachers. When you say trainers, your teachers and others, from the traditional way of teaching to this new way of learning. And in the class, they should keep encouraging students. Nobody, they should say, you are no good in English, you are in mathematics. Okay, I'm not good in mathematics, I may be good in something else, right? So don't pick on that I'm not good in mathematics. Tell me what I'm good at it. And then as a teacher, please bring me up. At the end of the day, even if you are produced me as a good carpenter or a fitter or an electrician, I'll be more than happy because you have found out what I am good at. And that is the role of a teacher, right? So I think there are a lot of opportunities. I'm a great optimist of this policy. In the next 10 years, I personally believe in 2030, the proof of the pudding you will see in eating. You will see a lot of good children, with good integrity, good contact, good manner, good moral education will come out. They are as important as the education that they have been taught in mechanical, mathematics, physics, chemistry. So I would like to leave at that because and then listen to you people. Maybe we can do a bit of an interactive session amongst us.
Yes, Professor. It was really very great to hear from one of the architect of the team which made this new education policy. People, as you rightly said, this needs to reach out to people because in the beginning, when Dr. Radhakrishnan committee was set up to look into the education system, changes from Macaulay system of education, thereafter Srimali committee, and now it is Kasturi Rangan sir who has contributed. Uh, this this education system has formally moved from Gurukula system of our ancient time to today, and uh, the education system is now going to be evaluated in a very different manner, is what you were telling, and this is what is happening. That none of our students will be you are not good in something. This is something which great, Professor, we have heard from you. Now, the first question comes from me, Professor. Day before yesterday, our Secretary Higher Education, Sri Amit Kare, had said that this university system is going to have a common entrance examination to fit into the credit system awards.
Yes.
How do you see like CAT or NEET or whatever you call, there is an education system, all the higher education institutions of state and central government will come under the umbrella of one standard entrance examination. How do you see it, Professor?
Okay. You see, this whole thought came out basically because our educational institutions, colleges, government universities, and now deemed universities. Now, all of them put together are in a larger umbrella of education. Now, there is a very generic feeling that out of the 82 deemed universities, 44 of them a few years back went into a sort of a review where their performance were not supposed to be the tandem committee, that government of India set up 6 years back. And they have identified 44 universities for a re-review of their deemed university status. So if you really looked at these deemed universities and some of the normal universities which are not up to the mark, even state or central universities, you see that they can be termed as good, bad, and ugly. Okay, some of them don't at all give good education. They are more money-minded. They collect fees, but at the end of the day, the teachers are not of the right caliber. Obviously, the students also who pass out are not of the right caliber. Now they come out as mechanical engineers, civil engineers, BSc chemistry, BSc physics, and they go for an interview to the industry, and the industry says, well, he asks questions, you don't even know what is mechanical engineering, I'm not going to give a job. He keeps trying for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and he never gets a job. But the people perceive, oh my God, this guy has done a mechanical engineering first class, he is not getting a job, so mechanical engineering is no good, let me not put my son. It is not like that. It is the educational system which is brought out. Now, how do we then put all the students into a single basket? You teach how you want to teach maths, physics, chemistry. I want to have an actor standard under which the student will be evaluated. And within that, NEET comes. Now there is going to be even a common engineering science stream. They are thinking, they are wanting to do a science and commerce stream, which might come by 2024. See, this is not very new. This is very extensively practiced in the United States. Anybody can do a medical education under anybody's college. They don't evaluate the college. The medical council does not come to the college and say, do you have hospital, do you have operation theaters, you have 5 operation theaters for 150 students, do you have this lab, that lab. You start a medical college, you please train a medical graduate. At the end of the 4.5 years, if you think your candidate is good, he has to write a common national medical. This is for the last 20 years in the United States. And if you pass it, you pass it. So they just assess the individual's caliber. And that individual might his hard work with his own support that he would have done in a coaching class or his parents teaching him or whatever, tuition, we call in India in Bluestone. At the end of the day, he reaches that standard. Then he becomes a good doctor and his career grows. This is the thought behind this so-called common entrance and educational system. Definitely there are a lot of improvement that needed. Now, as I don't know whether you know, yesterday there is more or less MHRD is toying with the idea from 2022, they will become completely online.
Yes.
Okay, this next year maybe the first time it is physical. They will have a common science, arts type of a stream, and that will all be again online, offline, whatever it is. So there will be an equivalent standard at a national level, irrespective of the caliber of college or university. Now, this is, in my opinion, it's very good, but the implementation of this has to happen very well. It will take some time. Even today, in the NEET examination, there were errors to the extent of 1%. Wrong questions, wrong answers, multiple answers for the same question. So these are all, likely to happen. Whereas if you write a SAT examiner, I hope you are aware, GMAT or a CAT has 30,000 questions. And when you sit before a computer, you get a different question. The guy sitting next to you, when he clicks, he gets a different one. They're all graded as equal. And therefore, if I am, and it starts, I don't know whether just to give you a flavor to my residents, I will tell you. I am writing a general mathematics. First, it will tell me what is 16 plus 14. If the answer is 30, if I say yes, then it will take me to the next level. What is 12 into 6? Let us say it asks me what is 16 into 16 plus 14. And instead of 30, I say 26. Then it tells me what is 7 plus 3. It brings me down. But now it has already assessed that I am 1 point below average in 100. Now after I say 7 plus 3 is 10, then it tells me, okay, he knows single digit, but he doesn't know double digit. Then the next multiplication question it asks to me, since this guy doesn't even even know proper mathematics properly, it will only ask me what is 3 into 2. But for 14 into 12. Look at it. And at the end of the day, after this 60 minutes, 60 questions, 30 seconds each, it gives you a grading that you are on a scale of 600. 4 such examinations are held and you are given 420, 470. And both qualitative and quantitative analysis. So, but it is perfected. When they started in 1968, I think, they also had all these hiccups. This is a 98% perfected system. Now we are starting, see, NEET, I would say, is now 65, 70% perfected system now. 65, maybe 70, 75. So the National Testing Academy is a big body, 2,000 people. It is deriving all its technology from USA, Europe, France. In 5 years, we know how to master technologies in India, by the way. We are very good at IT and computer system. So we will develop a very foolproof system, and therefore the evaluation will be very fair and good. But it will take 4 or 5 years to set it. That's the grading system answer.
That's great. Great question. For the last 30 years, we have seen rampant commercialization in education system. Now we are changing our system towards new education policy. There are foreign players, those who are going to come into this country, and this country's education system can go abroad also. This is how the arrangement is. Student will be taken from outside of this country, and faculties are going to come from outside of the country. With this system, how do you feel that our education system, those who are part of our education system today, how you see the improvement in their language level or their knowledge level should be increased with a proper intervention with time period, the knowledge level of trainers,
Yes.
how we can improve?
Okay, let me address it in a different way. See, now the government, not as part of the NEP, but as an amendment, as the attachment to it, says the top 100 universities of India, so top 100 ranked universities of India. And if you are a university with category 2 or 1, okay, universities, as you know, are graded as 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the highest, and 2 is the mid-level, and 3 is later. Now, these universities will all now be allowed to have first level foreign collaboration. That means you can give a dual degree. For example, a master's program of 3 plus 1 plus 1. 3 year India, 1 year abroad, come back and 1 year India. Okay. Now, this will be given as a degree from your own university or a dual degree. IIT is now giving dual degrees. India and France, India and Germany, India and US, with selected universities. For example, IIT gives in computer science Penn State University plus IIT Madras. So, and they divide amongst them. And 1 year they spend abroad, 1 semester they spend abroad. All this is going to happen. You see, if you look at traditionally the way India has been doing, see, the majority of the people today go to United States only for higher masters and not at undergraduate level. 2 reasons. One is United States will accept students only with a 4-year of Indian graduation degree to go for a master's there. So if you are a BSc chemistry, BSc physics, you cannot go there with a 3-year degree and join a master's there. Okay, so BSc, BCom, these type of graduates must spend 1 more year here, either in industry or in training, and have a 4-year before they go. In contrast, the engineering students, because they are already 4 years, can directly apply for a MS or MTech and go. Okay, and the best of students who go from India and China all go for, nearly 70% of them go for master's level. So this just says that the good universities of India, in spite of all the problems, produce good average and above graduates at a lower level of undergraduation. And people who go out of the country, even for post-graduation today, have to spend not less than on an average $60,000 to $65,000 abroad, which is for 5 lakhs minimum. Okay. Now this is just education for semester. Then you have to pay hostel, you have to pay transport. So only the higher middle class and others can afford it now. Even your loan that you get, you are not able to sustain, because even banks don't give too much of loan for all that. Okay, they say, why don't you join IIT? Why don't you join IIT? It was so good. Why are you going abroad? They do this question to ordinary people. If I have a son whom I can pay, then obviously I don't ask anybody. I put him there. So this is a big disparity economically. So I believe the first stage would be, see, most of these foreign universities don't want to come to India and to put their shop here on their own, because there is a big difference in the term fees that they charge there and term fees that they charge here. And in India, no professor will come to teach in India. His salary will be at least 6 to 10 times the salary of what India pays for a professor here. And even if you give money, they will come for short duration and teach. They are not interested to come here and then be a professor. No American, no French, no Britisher want to do. So this educational policy of they coming into India has lot of issues. And in my personal opinion, it will first start as they aligning with good Indian universities, since already government says only top 100 and grade 2 and grade 1. This will start for the next 5 years in a smaller way. Slowly and steadily, if at all foreign universities come, in my opinion, it is the Southeast Asian universities from Malaysia, Singapore, these type of universities first into India, where it is only 2.5 lakhs if you go to Sri Lanka to, Malaysia to study, then 1 lakh here. So this is how the whole thing will happen. So, but overall, over a period of time, it will be good for India. Our own professors will say, why do you think I am an average professor? I also know as much. They will also publish, they will also do research, and overall they will all grow. Okay.
Great, Professor. Now, one specific area which has been touched by you is the education present system. NEP is looking for a combination of knowledge-based education system as well as skill-based education system. Can you little elaborate it, Professor, how the new
Okay. See, today, I gave an example of a mechanical engineer. Okay. Well, forget it. Let's even take a computer scientist. Okay. I worked in computer science abroad for 10 years, in computer science field, coding to becoming a project manager to that. Let me take that. And I worked with very large Indian, the top 5 so-called Indian software companies, but not in India, abroad. Okay. But we take Indian students fresh from college. I'm saying even at the time of boom, 1990s, and say that we wanted to use them at a very primitive level, even for a simple coding. They are using C++ language. They were studied C++ language in 3rd semester, 4th semester, 5th semester. They come and they can't write a 50 line of code that is used for a specific application in banking or insurance or something. So the rote education that we provide in the college today is absolutely of no use, excepting a wider understanding of what is computer science, what is what. There is no in-depth understanding in either languages. When I say languages, computer languages, hardware, software, associated system, how to do debug a software, how to compile a computer-based algorithm, nothing there. So the first 1 year we give them 30,000 rupees and virtually run a college education back here. It's a total waste for the industry. Okay. Now this is what I believe we should change. If at the end of the day, from 4th year, if a guy is going to become a computer scientist, he must start, and he want to be a programmer. That is what his interest is. He should start learning today's languages, C++, Java, X, Y, Z. You want to become a hardware engineer, you must know hardware networking, Cisco rules, Cisco routers, how to do integration of computers, parallel computing, all this. So this is what the new educational policy is likely to do. One is knowledge, the second is your practical hands-on understanding.
Skill.
So that 1 year, if it becomes skill-based, that 1 year, if it becomes 6 months, we have done the job as a university professor. In my opinion, if we cut short 6 months out of that corporate's 1 year spending, we have done a great job. We would have brought up the economy of IT sector by 0.7%. I can assure you, with the nearly 3.7 million programmer level from India as per NASCOM, we would have done great. Okay? So that is how this new thing. Again, you see, I want to tell you one thing. It's a very wonderful experience. I think you should listen. I went to I will not name the university, I will not name the professor, but I will give you an example. I wanted to learn, take 60 students from a very reputed university, not IIT, IISc, but next level, okay? 60 students, out of which I want to train them exclusively to be taken to United States. So I went, and in the university, 300 students, 60 from 4 universities I want to take, because the standard was a bit high, expectation is a bit high. And I wrote, I gave an exam, 1 hour, and they were writing the exam. Then I announced that one student, before that introduction, he asked me, what is the salary, sir? I told him the salary is approximately, I will give you for the next 6 months, 35,000 rupees. And when you go to United States, you will make 1.3 lakhs. In 1 year, you will make 1.3 lakhs. And your savings potential is you can send 40,000 rupees to your family every month. He was delighted. Okay. Then they all started writing the exam. I took 4 professors, computer science professors, for invigilation. So the one professor came to me as the students were writing. Sir, can I write this examination? He asked me. I said, absolutely. Please take the question paper. After I finish this 1 hour, not only you, any professor who want to do, take this examination. At the end of this examination, I will give the answer key. You are a professor. You are going to rate all the 30 students' evaluation. I'm not doing it. You are going to do and select the student. You select yourself. Here is the answer key also. And if you score more than any one of your students are equivalent, you are also selected. I will request your management, if they will allow you, I will give you. I will take it. You won't believe it. In one of the best universities in Chennai, I selected 14 students. Very good. Very, very good. They all scored 60 and above. And all these 6 professors wrote, none of them even, they evaluated themselves. I didn't evaluate them. None of them scored even 30 marks. They were much lower than the 70% of the students got more than him. But the moral of the story is, I am not questioning the professor. That is not my aim. My aim is that you are ultimately teaching the student. So your level of skills, your level of knowledge must be much above par than the students, isn't it? And today it is made possible through Google. You can attend an MIT course sitting in your house at 5,700 rupees and get a MIT Massachusetts Institute of Technology degree in C++, in coding, even in English language, everything. So I'm just saying, the answer to this question is, the trainers, the professors and assistant professors should all be a proud of a nation. If I am getting caught in the United States by a policeman, no questions asked. There is such an integrity with him. I know he will find me, put the $50, I have to pay him $50, walk out. I am telling 1986. In India, I am getting caught in Marina Bay. I immediately pull out 100 rupees and give it to him and walk out. Okay? Very sad, shameful. I am doing it. Today I am doing it, unfortunately. Okay? Not because if he gives me 100 rupee challan, I will pay a 500 rupee challan. But for various reasons, I know, this is our system. So this should go out of us. And so professors must have their pride. I am a professor, I am now bringing up every year, I am bringing up 1,500 students in my Gandhigram University. Each one of them, I am a Dronachari, each one of them will beat me. Each one of them will come up. And that is my pride. At the end of my 35 years, I have become a great professor, great educator. Keep in mind, I wish in my lifetime, I come from a very moderate family. So in my house, every time they said, go and make money. So I made money. So in India, I made money. In US, I made money. And even now, I'm making money by part of industry. But when I look back, I thought, if money pressure was not there with me, I wanted to be a teacher. It never happened. Now I am compensating it by doing small things, but unfortunately, as a vice chancellor in a university I joined, I never could teach. But I know at least I used to motivate my professor. I'm just saying, so there's a need. Professors are great, you must have self pride, and each one of you should get yourself motivated.
Thank you for the insight, Professor. It was very, very nice hearing from you. Now,
Yeah.
since the education is state subject, and in this country, education is a state subject, whether it is
Yeah.
in Tamil Nadu or whether it is in West Bengal or whether it is in Jharkhand or any state, it is a state subject, whether it is Punjab. How do you see that national policy on education working on the states, particularly when the government is now emphasizing on studying in mother tongue and all? How do you see what could be the reach among the students and how the states will adopt this change?
Yeah, I know it's a very, very intricate question and an intricate answer. Because you see, what really happens is, as per the statute of India, the primary, secondary, and tertiary education up to 12 is 100% state policy. You can decide the medium of instruction, you can decide the way you want to have your subjects taught, syllabus, examination pattern, everything. And now, unfortunately, with this new educational policy, that was meant only for higher education, right? Now they are also dictating from stage 3, from kindergarten to KG to this thing. And they are wanting to, well, I don't know, impose is the right word, but this is going to cause a lot of friction between the center and the state in terms of education. So much in the south of India than in the north of India. I am telling you, in the north of India, even an engineering or medical subject is only taught in Hindi. You won't believe it. Okay. I will give you one example personally because I believe in examples rather than life. Immediately after my engineering from PhD College, Coimbatore, I went for a job to Jamshedpur, Jamshedpur Steel Company.
Tata.
Tatas. Tata. I went to there. 12 of us went from Tamil Nadu. Only 3 of my classmates, all are mechanical engineering. 3 of my classmates, the rest are from Trichy, Madurai, and all that. Okay. Among the 12 teachers, as luck would have it, I'm the only guy who knows Hindi very well. Speak, read, and write. Okay. So they go there. We all are sitting in the interview. 1977, 78. So you should pardon the old story. I go there. I am the 8th candidate. So before me, my friends go. Every time they come back. And he says, the interview for 20 minutes, nearly 12 questions asked, half of 4 questions in English, 4 questions in half Hindi, half English, and 4 more questions in Hindi. And they said we were very disappointed and I walked out. I walk in as the 8th student, 8th candidate. Okay, it is already 3:30. They were very tired. The first question itself that was posed to me was in Hindi. Do you believe it? Arey bhaiya, and you know what is the question here? Arey bhaiya, wo Tamil Nadu ko yahan aayenge. You are coming from all the way from Tamil Nadu. Forget your engineering. I know you got good marks. I am seeing your mark list. Will you be able to manage with your Tamil in this place called Jamshedpur? You are not even in Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta. I answered in Hindi, "Arey kuch koi problem nahi hai sir. You all come to Tamil Nadu and manage." With the first 1 year, 2 years will be difficult. Then I said, do you believe it? In 3 minutes, he sent me off and made me an offer. Very injustice, huh? But this is what is happening. Even today in Amity University, lovely, I am naming only deemed universities. Amity University, Lovely university, each one of them has 32,000 students. Punjab Agricultural University, Punjab Technological University. If I go and join agriculture or in Lovely University with my so-called English language only, forget Tamil, I will not be taught anything properly. The class starts your mechanical engineering, all the 26 subjects starts with Hindi and ends with Hindi in the fourth year. Now, for them to adapt to this new change is very, very easy. Change the scenario to Tamil Nadu. A guy comes from Kumbakonam, Ariyangulam, XYZ. Poor guy, even Tamil he doesn't know why. And this guy is now told, please have 3-language formula, 2-language formula. Study Tamil, study Hindi, study another English or foreign language. And from up to the age of 14, this is going to be very unfortunate and chaos. And this is definitely, I didn't touch upon the negatives. There are 16 negative items, but since the question came, I am now talking about one of the important negative, particularly which will affect the primary, secondary education of the southern states. But within that, people in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, a bit in Kerala too, know more Hindi than any one of us. Unfortunate. But Tamil Nadu people are going to be definitely at a disadvantage as an answer to this question.
Thank you, Professor. I want to become. This is the last question from me, Professor. I want to be more optimistic than pessimistic. We are having our own in higher education scheme. Because moreover the school education is streamlined, CBSE is there, ICE is there, so it's moreover streamlined. In higher education system, in higher education institutions in this country, I see huge difference in terms of their weightage to curriculum and course. For example, a southernmost part of country, we are there in Gandhigram Rural Institute. Maybe what we are teaching in BA or BSc or whatever subject may be, it may be completely different in terms of curriculum of Delhi University or Jawaharlal Nehru University. There is a huge difference. I have seen it because students coming from South aspiring to be in Delhi University or JNU, they are unable to cope up in the first year because of the standards of the curriculum. How do you see this integration of curriculum when a professor let me put it like this, someone is paid X amount as professor in a central university, same is there in southern part also, in northern part also, in eastern part also, all the central university they are paid in the same way, UGC scale. The curriculum, there is a difference. How to integrate this curriculum, because now students are going to evaluate us, as you rightly said, when there is a common entrance examination. Definitely, students are going to evaluate the professors. So, how to increase the weightage of curriculum vis-a-vis the present situation, Professor? What should be the periodicity?
No, I will address in two ways. One is you talked of the disparity in the wage scale, salary scale. See, if it is plus or minus 20%, I would accept. But unfortunately, the wage differential is much, much higher. You see, as per the UGC, you are aware, you are a professor. You see, 63,000 rupees is a salary that you have to follow if you want to give for a professor with 12 years of experience in a UGC scale. You are aware how much all universities pay. The majority of the universities pay in approximately 50 to 60% of this. They show to UGC differently, but I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of the reality. Okay. Now, when you pay, see, we have a proverb: if you pay peanuts, you will get monkeys, right? I mean, I'm not saying any professor is a monkey. Don't take it that way. I'm just saying that is where I am saying. First of all, education, colleges, universities must address the best of teachers as a profession. Why is it that I didn't join as a professor, as I said? It is because I see more money in somewhere else. But even if I see equivalent money or plus or minus 10% and I have aptitude teaching, I will become a professor, right? But today that, then where as a professor? In a government university, my first preference, because of money. not because the standard is great. State universities, because I don't have to work and still get my month and month salaries properly. Whether I teach or not, whether I do or not, excellent holidays, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Third is where we need to work and earn, like deemed universities, universities of your caliber. No, all of us. And therefore, the answer to this question is it's very, very challenging and it's extremely difficult and it won't happen overnight, but it has to happen over a period of time, slowly and steadily. I think so. Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
it's a very good question for which we don't have great answers, honestly.
Professor, it is, as I told you that I would like to be more optimistic in
Exactly.
this question
No,
when
no,
I
I
was
mean,
asking this.
we have to be optimistic. I always tell my people, my own professors, they all have very high workload of teaching. Now, you see, to add to the complication, you are aware all universities are graded, are to be graded as educational universities, balanced research and educational universities, and research universities. You are aware by 2027, the universities are going to
That's
be
true.
graded now. Now, by virtue of this, even the professors who are in extremely great research universities, I would believe not even 5 to 6 of the deemed universities will qualify for that.
True.
They will all get very good money. Money that will flow in for research from government of India, money that will flow in from industry. So they all will be getting twice that of a professor in the mid university. Now, mid university, 50% research, 50% education. People in research or a blended research and education will get more money than a normal professor who is only doing teaching. So, within your own university, you will find a disparity. Then the worst part is those who are teaching. Why do you believe teaching is? See, you are building your foundation, right? Teaching is as important as the other two. But he is going to be, I don't know what is the right word. Oh, you are only a teaching institute professor. But you are laying the foundation, then only the structure can be built up, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this is another anomaly. This is another major issue. There has been a lot of deliberations that we should not what you call discriminate universities in this fashion. But the argument was, you see, Chinese government spent 4.5% on research, which is very huge. Their economy is 10 times India. It spends a lot of money. United States sends 2.5%. All European universities send 5%. Government money plowed into research. India spends not even 0.6%. And the reason they say is, every money we put into research in India is a waste of money. No output comes tangible. No good software come, no good hardware come, no machines come, no process come, nothing comes out of it. So we will put money, the taxpayers' money, if and only if the universities and the professors assure us that we will definitely give you output. If I say I'm going to build a new machine, I will build it. If I say I'm going to build a machine for cement industry, I will build it. So I will do a practical thing. I will not do theory papers and publications and get my H index, Y index like that. So this went on and on in the deliberation, and it was more in favor of, again, whom to give, whom not to give this money of the exchequer, of the government, taxpayers' money they call it. It became to have this discrimination. It will have its own plus and minuses, but universities work their own strategies. First, they have to decide where they want to be and work out their own strategies over the next 5 years for this purpose.
Thank you for this brief answer. Professor, I'm not able to control my last question.
Please, no problem, no problem. You have chosen a good Saturday. If it had been yesterday or a Monday, I wouldn't have been able to spend this time because I don't work on Saturday, fortunately. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Professor. The last question is, Professor, our Prime Minister's vision is Atmanirbhar Bharat. He is working on letter and spirit in building up Atmanirbhar Bharat for future. How do you see NEP enabling for Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Okay. Okay, you are aware that the Atmanirbhar project, the central core theme is we must become self-sufficient. As a country, I mean, in everything, okay? Self-sufficient means there is no country in the world which is self-sufficient, but this is not something new. Congress government 20 years back said we must become a self-reliant nation. But then they said the definition of self-reliant, as told by Indira Gandhi, is food, shelter, clothing. Basic requirements of the people, which is guaranteed in a communist country, not in a democratic country. We must become because our population is very large. These three are essentials: food, shelter, clothing. So their self-reliant project 25 years back or 20 years back, their own version of Atmanirbhar was just this. Okay. Now with all the perturbations that are happening in the globe and in our neighborhood, particularly China, Pakistan, our relationship with Nepal, Bhutan. I mean, it takes a big lecture to give. Has been very, very difficult for India to manage. Today, our Indian defense, I don't know how many of you, I worked in DRDO for 5 years. I was the deputy project director of the fighter aircraft, what we built for India. Okay. Now today, in spite of all this, Department of Defense imports 72% of its requirement from abroad. Only, and we have 46 DRDO labs, we have 37 CSIR labs, all research. All the 46 DRDO labs are supposed to service only defense projects. 25 years, they have not done anything. I mean, not done anything means still they are importing 72%. It's a shame on us. And therefore, today's Atmanirbhar is completely different. We must become self-reliant in various technology aspects. That brings me to you, the role that you as educational institutions must play. And you should produce graduates who can do hands-on work with a very good technology understanding of various things. And he should, when he walks out of his engineering, be as an entrepreneur, be joining a company, his knowledge and working level, what I still definitely call it as vocational training, must be above, so that they can really make some productive use of that thing, of their education. No more theoretical, no more PWD officer, no more electricity engineer just going and doing some wiring. All this can happen, but they are not important. We have to make a gun in this country. We have to make a surface to air missile in this country. We have to make a submarine. We have to make a warship. We have to make everything. Even today, it's a shame we don't even make a parachute in this country. Government of India imports nearly 90 crore equivalent of parachute. If you look at a parachute, I can assure you, if you bring it and show it to your Tirupur, everybody in Tirupur will make only parachute. Because for a shirt's equivalent labor, they will get 1.25 lakhs for import equivalent. I'm just saying, there's also a problem with the government, but because it will always give it to the DRDO Parachute Institute rather than to a Tirupur. Because this guy with a lungi or a slack shirt walks in, and then by looking at him as a big scientist, I believe, oh, array, or what is this guy? It's very unfortunate. I mean, we all should know each other, This is what is my answer to this question, really.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor. It was really very meaningful discussion today. You have given insight. You have enriched us in many things, and it was really, really a very interesting session for us in this webinar to understand so many things from you, Professor. As an architect of one of the architect of new education policy, was given. He was thrown some light on the untouched parts of NEP, which is being discussed today at large. I'll have to come to a kind of formal conclusion, Professor. I'm really thankful to you, Professor M.K. Padmanabhan, for being with us in this webinar series and delivering a lecture on new education policy, opportunities and challenges for rural and urban students, fraternity in India. I'm really thankful to you, sir. You have taken your valuable time in spite of your busy schedule. I'm really thankful to you for being with us in this webinar, sir. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the conversations. I like this type of interactions basically because sitting, inside the air-conditioned room, we never get appropriate feedback. Everywhere, even in the recent farmer strike, people are saying, go back to the people and talk. In Salem, eight way, people say, go to the villages and ask them what their issue is. And therefore, if we are in the field of education, whether it is policy making or delivering, we have to find out the pulse of the people who are on the field, like you people, who are delivering really and producing these great students for tomorrow's thing. I really enjoyed it. It will be a pleasure. I would like to assure you that this need not be the only time when we have interacted.
Yes, Prof.
Take the liberty of, in whichever way you think I can be part of you. Dindigul is not far from Chennai, and I would be happy if I can be of use to your university in any way, anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Jai Hind. Jai Hind.
Thank you.